and welcome to the Lifestyle Refresh podcast. I'm Stephanie, and I'm so excited to have you here. This is a space where we explore what it really means to live a balanced, healthy, and fulfilled life through fitness, mindfulness, resilience, and everything in between. I created this podcast to share with you my journey, all the ups and downs, and the lessons I've learned along the way. My hope is that it inspires you to show up for yourself no matter where you're starting from. Each episode will dive into topics that will help you refresh your mindset, habits, and lifestyle so that you can step into the best version of yourself. I'm so glad you're here to join me on this journey. Let's get into it. Hi, guys, and welcome back to the Lifestyle Refresh podcast and my little parenting series where we explore practical tools for mindful parenting. Today, we're diving into a topic that can transform everyday challenges into opportunities for growth. I'm talking about emotional regulation. Now imagine navigating those stormy moments, a tantrum in the grocery store, or a stressful day at work, with a calm and centered mindset. In today's episode, we're going to explore what emotional regulation means, why it's essential for both parents and kids, and how you can put simple strategies into practice right away. So, let's set the stage for a journey towards calmer and more mindful parenting. First, let's define emotional regulation. In basic terms, it's our ability to manage and to respond to our emotional experiences in a balanced way. Think of it as being the captain of a ship. You might not control the weather, but you do steer how you navigate through the storm. Right? I love that look at it. So today we'll briefly touch on the science behind our emotions. When we're stressed or upset, our brains release certain chemicals that influence our behavior. Understanding this helps us see that our initial reactions are often automatic, and with practice that you can learn how to respond more thoughtfully instead of just reacting. Keep this image in mind as we move forward. Emotional regulation is not about suppressing feelings, but more about guiding them in a way that supports both your well-being and that of your children. So let's talk about some everyday triggers. For many parents, triggers can include unexpected tantrums, the bedtime struggles are always huge, or even just the stress of you having a long day at work. For kids, triggers often emerge from not getting their way. Sometimes they may feel misunderstood, or maybe just facing a new experience sets them off. These moments can feel so overwhelming though, but stopping and recognizing them is the first step to helping you manage them. So consider the scenario of a sudden tantrum in a public place. We've all been through it. Your child's frustration might be contagious. Most of the time, it usually is. And before you know it, both of you are now spiraling into heightened emotions. We all know that story because we all can relate to it with kids. But reflect on those experiences, what you've been through, and what are some triggers that you've noticed in your day to day life. This awareness is key to developing strategies that will work for you too. Because it's not just our kids too that need the help. We need strategies and tools that are going to work for us because their emotions sometimes trigger our emotions, and then we end up reflecting the same emotions that they're displaying that we don't want them to display. And then you're just mirroring each other and doing the same thing and expecting the other one to stop. We're the adults here, so we need to prepare ourselves too. But before we can even help our kids, it's crucial for us to manage our own emotions. So here are a few strategies that have made a huge difference. Breathe. When emotions start to rise, I know it sounds silly, but breathe. Take a slow, deep breath. It sounds simple, and it is. That's why it helps so much, and it really does reset your body's stress response. And pause. Give yourself a moment to process. If you need to step away for a hot second and everybody's safe and you can safely do so, even a brief pause can help you decide on a more thoughtful response. They say that too. I think it's like a minute and a half. I think Jay Shetty said that. There's like a minute and a half where if you wait in any situation, if you've received news and you get amped up to your response, and maybe you're have anger or sadness or whatever it may be towards that response initially, wait, like if you can wait like that minute and a half or as close to as you can, give yourself that pause and rethink it. Not that we all have a minute and a half in some situations, but the idea of stopping, taking that breath, giving yourself that pause. And even if you're in front of your kids and they see that, now you're displaying that. Now you're showing them this is how you regulate your emotions. This is how you calm yourself in a situation like this. You're literally displaying what you want from them, but without just telling them to do it. You do it. Model the behavior. And self-talk. Use affirmations. If you need to say it in your head, I can handle this. This too shall pass. We all know with kids, they're all phases. They always seem to find something just as new and exciting, let me tell you. But the positive self-talk can ground you in that moment. And grounding techniques. Focus on your senses. Feel your feet on the floor. Take notice of your surroundings. It's going to help bring you back to the present moment. Remember, and these aren't all just theoretical ideas. I've personally found this, even a short pause, a deep breath during a challenging moment, it can completely change the outcome of a situation. So just try, experiment with these techniques and see what resonates with you. They don't all have to stick either, but, try it out. All right, now we're going to shift our focus to the little ones, because teaching children to understand and manage their emotions is a gradual process, okay? And it often you need to start simple, age-appropriate tools. Meet them at their level where they're at. But one effective method is using an emotion chart. And I know we use that very early on with my son too. These visuals help kids label what they're feeling, whether it's anger, sadness, joy, and it helps give them a starting point to talk about what they're feeling, what their emotions they're going through. Even books. We've ended up putting together a whole calming corner for my son, and it's The school suggested it too because that's what they kind of do when kind of transitioning kids if they need to like step away or something. There's some type of area that's set up with all made self-regulating tools that they can use to help kind of regulate and reset their nervous system and get their emotions in check. So we created the space at home, and he was a part of putting that all together. But we had all of these tools sprinkled across the whole house, and we didn't have a proper space for them. So we put this whole area. They've got the books. That's what made me think of it. Going back to the different emotions, and it's just this place now where he can sit and deregulate and kind of put his thoughts together and whatever tools he wants to use in that moment. But another great practice is to introduce simple mindfulness exercises, even a breathing game, a moment of quiet reflection. Like if he needs to, has a big outburst, that's where we usually have him, you know what, just go hang out for a couple minutes in your common corner. Come out when feel like you feel better. But these tools and exercises and things that they can do to kind of redirect them in this situation, kind of that where the outburst is kind of you feel like you can't take it anymore. If you aren't at home, kind of having something on the go that you can use. Maybe just the deep breath, If I'm out in public, I feel like I always tend to rely on letting them make choices of their own of what we have going on in the situation. So I always try to redirect if we're not home, and deep breaths. So that's kind of two easy outside of the house options that you can go right to. But if you have more space and time at home where you can have like a corner that they can go to or some space of their own that they might enjoy just to calmly chill and reflect. Or like I said, the mindful exercises, there's so much fun. Like you can, if they're into yoga or doing anything like that, there's so many interactive games and things out there now that you can find for your little ones. But it's also important just to help them practice this co-regulation. So this means guiding your child through their emotions and staying present with them. Instead of also just immediately sending them off, sometimes that's like if their emotions are too high to even be in the same room with you at this moment, and they personally need to step away. But instead of immediately jumping to maybe that, if they are willing to be present and sit and talk with you, simply acknowledging their feelings with, I see that you're upset. Can I help you understand and feel supported? Saying those things and making them feel validated and heard instead of just saying, no, whatever the situation is, bringing it back to why, what's going on, what can I do to help you? Talking them through their feelings, asking them questions, helping them feel safe, but really understanding what the why behind why they're acting this way and what they're feeling and what they need to help them instead of just trying to tell them how they need to be helped. Does that make sense? But think back to a moment when you guided a child or your child through a meltdown. All right, let's apply these strategies to a couple real life scenarios. Picture this. You're in a store and your toddler suddenly throws a tantrum. Here's a step-by-step approach for you. Stay calm. Off the bat, stay calm. Your reaction sets the tone. So take a deep breath and model calmness. Step 2, acknowledge the emotion, okay? I know it's hard, especially when they're being like, ugh, yep, I know. But gently say it. I can see you're really upset right now. Validating their feelings is huge. It's so key, I promise. Now, step 3. Offer a choice or just distraction. So, depending on the situation, you might offer a simple choice of them to help them regain a sense of control. So, maybe you're whatever aisle you're down, if there's something that maybe they like or would be interested in helping you pick, like you're picking out the pasta, what kind of pasta do you want? Mac and cheese, what type of mac and cheese? You know, whatever, that whatever shift you can do and is reasonable for you in that moment, give them a choice to make, and handing that power back to them to have them make a decision helps them feel that sense of control. Or even a distraction or something else to gently redirect their focus. If they distract easily and can be redirected in something like that, that might even be an easier route too. But one of those two, give them that choice or just kind of redirect and distract them in some way. But those 3 steps, and so easy. I mean, it's so hard in the beginning to keep being, stopping yourself and being extra mindful of that. But they're 3 easy steps. So once you can get past those first couple rough times of really trying to, maybe you already started to feel yourself build up and you had to like roll yourself back, that's fine. But just remember, you can always roll yourself back and set that tone for them. But 3 steps: stay calm, acknowledge the emotion that they're feeling, validate them. I see you're really upset right now. What can we do to fix the situation? But another scenario, right? Maybe you're at home. Let's switch it up. Maybe you're at home and the 2 siblings have a disagreement now. So now both the kids are fighting. Back at home, both kids are fighting. Start by acknowledging both perspectives. Right? I see you're feeling this way because, and I see you're feeling this way because. Address them both and then help the children work through their feelings by suggesting they take turns sharing how they feel, or even using a timer to ensure each child is heard. Obviously, that is age appropriate too. I know in my house I wouldn't be able to do that yet because I have a toddler and he wouldn't be able to understand. So just certain situations are going to call for different things. But the same idea applies of staying calm, acknowledging and addressing their feelings, but trying to find an alternative outlet maybe. Offer that choice if you're out at the store. Offer a choice if you're at home. If the 2 are fighting, offer maybe you 2 try and figure it out quietly and safely. Or you can sit and talk about your feelings and try to hear one another out. Offer those different choices and distractions. But those 3 steps, they're practical steps that can turn a potentially chaotic moment into an opportunity for learning and connection. I'm trying to push more of that. But emotional regulation isn't just for the heat of the moment. It's a skill that it takes some time to develop. To nurture long-term emotional intelligence, consider making these practices part of your family routine. If it feels right for you, you could even have like a weekly check-in, have every family member share how they're feeling, where they're at. Not saying every family has to do something like that, but there's so many tools and practices and strategies and ways that you can help your family connect more and learn and grow together. But encourage these activities that promote mindfulness and empathy. Family yoga, journaling, even reading stories that highlight emotional challenges and growth. Over time, these practices, they start to build a foundation of self-awareness and resilience that both benefits everyone in the family. By integrating these habits into your daily life, you're not only managing current challenges, but you're also setting your children up for success in the future. As we wrap up today's episode, here are a few takeaways to remember. Emotional regulation is a valuable skill for both parents and kids. Small practices like deep breathing, pausing before reacting, and positive self-talk can make a big difference. Use everyday moments, whether it's a tantrum or a disagreement, as opportunities to teach and learn together. It's not easy at first, but the more you practice these and fit this into your habits and your routine, it just starts to become second nature. So I challenge you to try a pause and breathe technique. The next time emotions run high, try it out. And if you have a moment, share your experiences or tips with us on Instagram at lifestyle_refresh. I'd love to hear what works for you too. Thank you for joining me on this journey toward a more mindful and emotionally resilient parenting. Stay tuned for our next episode where we explore more about food and nutrition. Until then, take care of yourself and your loved ones.